Oofle. Oofle. It was about you, Zach. What else would it be about? Oof. Oh, yeah. That's very nice. I'm pretty sure I only need one more to unlock the fists now, which is sexy. Actually, wait, hold on. Let me make sure that Achilles, or not Achilles, Achilles, right? I think so. That he's not going to give me the, Yep, I think this is the conversation. I do believe so, yep. Right? Hold on. Trying to remember how to get to it, I think. Do I gift him? No, because I want to start gifting the gold. And frankly, Meg, though. Yep.
That's really what I want.
I love this. It's funny, the whole contraband thing gets smoothed over faster this time. Oh yeah, this thing. Determinism thing. Yeah, might as well start unlocking what I've got. And like 8 is what I need, right? One more.
You're pretty quick, you know, boyo. Just be sure to use that fancy dash of yours. Dash line.
I love it.
Keeps his whole power.
Whew.
Now to give me strength.
I'm just gonna skip through a lot of this stuff just because I want to keep going with the gameplay. Oh wow, okay, this is new. Da, da, da. Zag hugs for eternity. We 8. Let's do it. What chamber have I been to thus far?
I can do this. First get past the urgent sheds of darkness. Easier said than done. Deep down the solid ready to Meg. The river of flame up through just beyond. Find a way up to Elysium from there and return to that. Alright. Let's give it another shot.
Let's do it. 37. By the way, now I can start... Nope, I can't start doing that yet. Alright. Well, let's do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not on your life.
Man, I love Zag's sheer... Oh, I wanted to gift her.
We don't all share the same dream or see eye to eye. All of us, I think, wish you the best.
Ah, love you to hug. Alright, so... There we go. Just getting used to a lot of this again. Alright. Remember. Pretty much first thing I want to do is start putting these in foods. Gonna really get used to that. Now I'm cooking with gas in this. I'm getting momentum going. That's Gucci. There we go. There we go, very nice. By the way, before I forget, timer display. Hey man, there we go. There we go. There we are. There we go. There we go, very nice. There we go. Mm. 69 health though, nice. Whoops. Careful about them pads. There we go. Getting better at all that. Feels Gucci, man. Whoops. Practicing directional stuff. Yeah. Really focusing on the direction you attack from, and you know, both in order to get back shots and also trap stuff is important for clearing rooms and that kind of thing. There we go, very nice. Let's see here. Or 10% when you enter a chamber. Deal 50 plus 50% damage, striking and damage foes. Gain 20% move speed. I'm actually just gonna hold on to all this for actual shops. Speaking of actual shops, I also am gonna not end up using Chaos much for a while. If not very often whatsoever, frankly. But we'll see. Later, for sure, though. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the... I'm gonna go for... There's Hermes. Alright, we'll cast Fire in Rapid Succession. If you're hit, you have a chance to dodge. Dash. Dash complete. It becomes sturdy and move 100% faster. I'll do greater evasion. To recover 2 whole health. Wow, amazing. Well, there we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. Very nice. Ah, whoops. That was not too much damage, really, in the grand scheme of things, so. And we're still gooch. I have 2 death defiances, just in case. This music is fucking awesome. This music is fucking awesome. This music is fucking awesome. This music is fucking motherfucking awesome. God damn it, motherfucker. Holy shit, this music is motherfucking awesome. Music is really awesome. I love it very much. Alright. Yes! Oh, I have 9 now. Just 8. Very sexy. I don't really have the money to get other things anyway. So. Alright. Let's see how we do with Meg here. Stretchy Durgan. Gotta stretch, friends. It's important. Let's do it, friends. Huh, I started meeting Tiffany already? Wow, okay. This fight used to be a lot more brutal than it is currently. Or that I feel it is currently. But that also might be muscle memory, too. But the chamber used to become smaller a lot faster. She used to just generally be a lot more brutal. At least I feel like it was a lot faster. There we go. $6,700 and still both of my Death Defiances is definitely very nice. Definitely still very good. I know. Let's see. I'll keep all those. Who knows? Lowers does a lot of damage to armor. That'll help a lot. Armor is pretty much the biggest health barrier at the beginning of the game because it's an armor. Makes sense. Armor, barrier. You know, pretty similar concepts there, eh? Huh. Well, considering I don't really have any money to go around, I'm gonna go. But I do feel like I have some solid DPS, so time for coins instead of Ares. Oh, I don't think so, Dad. Pretty sure there isn't a kitty in here. Huh? Huh? Yeah, I don't think it's in here, because I haven't been. Alright, yeah. The fact that they hover around the lava is pretty annoying and probably just horrible for... I think that that's not usually, like, always how that works, but it's kind of unfortunate how they are. Because even though there's a good bit of versatility here, I tend toward melee a bit more than ranged with this thing, so, you know. So gotta be careful about that. Like, alright, there we go. Alrighty, Durga. Well, today I have 157 to throw around. I tend to at least wait until I have 150-ish. That can usually garner me a boon, or something else equally as yeet. At least until I start increasing things, yeah. Boons are normally what I try to go for here. Pretty sure I end up dash striking a good bit, so... I'm gonna get double Artemis here. Might start stacking up some really nice damage stuff. This way. I think I've already caught some pretty good damage stuff, though. The power couple, as Zag calls them oftentimes. I love that. I love this boss theme, by the way. I love this, like, chuggy, proggy metal riff stuff. God, I love Darren Korb and just the sheer genre-bending power that he has. He's so good at it. And he loves odd time signatures and stuff. He's said as much in an interview, and I always love... I mean, hell, like I said, I love proggy metal-y stuff. That is what this soundtrack really is. Well, I mean, it's proggy in general, but metal-y is, you know, because the intensity works really well for boss fights, that's what the boss fight music tends to be, so yes. I tend to love the boss music, especially this song. I love that. I love that run there. I love these harmonics, Jesus. This riff is awesome. Ouch. Ow. Head crusher hurt. You know, as something, you know, as something crushing your entire body, as something heavy crushing your entire body by dropping from the ceiling would feel like. Yeah, that would hurt, wouldn't it? Might as well gift her this and just get in the habit of just throwing gifts at the gods. Because I feel like I should have a better one. There we go. Artemis is one of my favorites. Just, don't make a habit of not choosing her in Trials of the Gods, which, yeah. If y'all don't know what those things are, you will know soon if you keep watching. And if you do, I am very, very grateful, friends. Yep, Hermes. Yep. Hermes influence. Ooh, after you cast it with an attacker special. Or okay, yeah. Like, it's purple. I'm not gonna read these others because it's purple, and like this just works with all my damage stuff already. So it's like hell, yeah. I'm gonna avoid chaos until I feel Gucci about getting like probably all the way to freaking Temple of Styx, frankly. Or at least farther into Elysium. Then I'll start using Chaos's stuff because it's just a bit less of a gamble with, you know, the whole run, you know. I pretty much want to guarantee that I generally get past Hydra. Just with my mirror stuff and all of that. Ow. Ow. Alright. what I hear there. I think I heard something that wasn't a door, but I might be wrong. Pretty sure I have to start unlocking all that stuff, and I haven't unlocked any of the additional things that are sometimes in chambers yet, except I know that I've already encountered some Wells of Charon. I think that's the only one I have, because I think that the others you have to work to unlock, and I think you might have to work to unlock that one too. It's just that I've already unlocked it, kind of brain deadly, in between runs. I do that sometimes. That kind of a thing. Yeah, considering a low on coin, I tend to try to go for more coin, until I at least have around 150 to spend on a boon or so. And then honestly I start saving more later. In fact, right now might be time to start saving more, because I've got a good boon stack going here. Alrighty, 154. Yeah, if I can get my hands on health, I would just love this. It depends. Might get unlucky and not be able to grab some health here. Thank God! Yeah, that's the important thing. And then I can also grab a poem. Beautiful. Alright, special stronger can deflect. And then there's, yeah, especially because there's about to be our big ol' Hydra E-boy. Strike, to cast, fire-seeking arrow. More damage on top of everything. Just 2 more, but yeah, I think that's, except special is stronger by 84%. And considering that's like my biggest, like, you know, multiple thing attack and, you know, the heads, I'll try that. See how that works for this thing. How much that specific attack contributes. I feel like, honestly, for me and my ADHD, but those sparkles that give you dialogue aren't obvious enough, so I tend to miss them a lot. I have this curse, I feel like, where 99% of the time I will miss those, but when I'm leaving the room, that's when I notice them. Anyone else go through that? It kind of pisses me off. This song is probably my favorite boss theme because of this fucking run. Oh my god, I fucking love this freaking, I think it's called an arpeggio run. I think this is an arpeggio here. Now, I only know about guitar and music stuff because of osmosis from YouTube videos, because I've been interested, and very, very minimally from guitar practicing a billion years ago, but I intend to get a decent guitar and setup, and, you know, otherwise decent setup, and start learning guitar once I start earning enough months from other endeavors like this one here, in order to really facilitate that. I still have one of them left, but yeah, I'd rather not lose any of them until I start getting to Elysium, which is the place I should be worrying about the most right now, because, you know, until my mirror stuff and such and other upgrades start catching me up to where I'm a lot more pretty much guaranteed to get all the way to Theseus and the Minotaur. I wish I remembered his name. Asterius, I do believe. But once I start getting to, like, you know, basically, I want to keep, until that's a lot more guaranteed, I really want to just get to the point where I'm a lot more liable to keep my Death Defiance when I get there. But now that I say that, well, there will be a point probably pretty soon before I get to the Elysium point I want to be at, to where that will just happen a lot more easily, because everything I have will make it a lot more easy to do the DPS I need to really get past these things without taking too much damage, you know, regardless of how else I'm playing. And that's kind of why I think I feel that is the main reason that I tend to rely on DPS in this game so much, and that it works for me. Like, it really works for me to rely on DPS. Alright. Just generally. 20 minutes. I'm just gonna keep sort of increasing what I've already got. Alright. Ow. Ow. Yeah, these rooms, being careful of the arrows is really important. It's not easy either, but it's very important. It's not easy, it's very important. And it gets easier as you keep practicing. As for the use, and honestly, you're just, you know, it's part of it is really just a health check, you know, to get through here a lot easier, too. There we go. Alright, special stronger, can deflect. I really like just focusing on the special, yeah. Especially in here. Alright. The really good thing about having those arrows, those auto arrows from from Artemis is that they end up cleaning up a lot of the, you know, at least, you know, damaging a lot of the souls that pop out, so you can focus on the other enemies a little bit more easily. I say that, and now there's 2 that are out. There we go. But yeah, very nice. Alright, oh yes. Woo! This man has some of the most useful ass-saving items in this entire game. Oh. There we go. Now. I feel like Hermes would have been a better idea. Oh, but stairs, hey. I'm actually not too worried about him because I know his patterns. We'll see if I get my words about that, though. This song's awesome because the boss themes are fucking awesome in this game, motherfucker. Down, 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 down. I love this part of this song. This is one of the most Greek-sounding parts of the soundtrack. It's interesting, because the soundtrack is usually not very Greek-sounding, but there's definitely some Greek-sounding parts to it. You know, Darren Core really is honestly masterful, in my opinion, especially in regards to having, you know, his own unique sound for each game, I might add, that fits the flavor of the game and also really allows him to be super creative with it. And this soundtrack is probably the best example of that, probably because how all across the board this game's the best example, because I think the philosophy that the entire team at Supergiant has behind this game really helps them push themselves to make better and better games. But, you know, I feel for them, because right now, with how this game's blowing up compared to every other game they've ever made, they have they have big shoes to fill with the next game they make, and that's this game, those shoes. I feel about losing my Death Defiance right after I got it, but I had a feeling that would happen, and part of me was like, you know, I don't remember if he had the health item. I think there is a health item, pretty sure there is, but if he did, I feel like it would be really, really maybe better for me to get that, because I just lost the Death Defiance that I had, that I regained, and I'd rather have that to hopefully, you know, get past when I fight him and Theseus for the boss fight, and get into Elysium. Not Elysium, but Temple of Styx. Down, down, out, down, out, down, Getting him to ram into those is not easy, but it helps a lot. It damages him a bit too. That's kind of the main reason. Ow! So you want him to do that instead of the walls. I think the walls are also a possibility there. There we go. I forgot you don't even have to beat him. But not fond of how much health I lost there, and the fact that I lost both my death defiances mostly. However, I will have to give it to myself that I'm pretty sure. Give me that purple attack and special is stronger than first and second encounters by 75 per motherfucking goddamn cent. Give me that shit. Let's hope that gets me a bit further, a good bit further, a good ass motherfucking bit further. I'm hoping so. Good few more changes, but like I was just saying, speaking of getting further, I'm pretty sure I've gotten. This is the farthest I've come. I think. I hope so. Well, there we go. Very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Oof. These butterfly balls, man. The sheer amount of butterflies and how much they're pretty much impossible to not have do damage to you sometimes. Just depending on the amount of butterfly balls. Oof. 1 health. Oof, oof. Oh my Jesus. I couldn't do this thing with 1 health. Yeah, especially now. God, I really wish this is I hope this is a fountain chamber. It's not going to be a fountain chamber. Oh, gosh. Do I just take the damage to avoid butt clenching? No, I'm going to do my best to fight these things. Ah, yep. I'm proud of myself for how far I got there without taking damage. In that chamber. Yep. And also Asterius for the first time. Hugs for Dusa. God damn it, Hypnos. Anyway. Being goofy's fun, friends. Alright. Yeah, give me Orpheus. Give me Orpheus. Plunder. Give me them infernal troves. A nice little strategy thing. A risk-reward thing I'm a lot more liable to take as opposed to, Chaos is just because it's more predictable, and honestly, there's just less dangerous things, especially for having... If you have, basically, the thing I'm not too fond of regarding Chaos's boons / curses, or whatever you want to call them, is the fact that he will, most, I would say, of his boons, like, a good bit, there's always at least one, I've noticed. A lot of times there's 2, or even 3. A lot of them, damage you for using one of your abilities. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a habit of trying to use my toolkit to the best of my ability. Limiting my toolkit because it will damage me, which is the most important thing to avoid in this game is damage as much as you can. Yeah, no bueno. I don't like using Chaos much because of that. But later on, I will use him more in the earlier areas in order to get me boosts that I know I can survive getting because I have security regards to because of the mirror stuff and everything, all my upgrades. But probably not in Elysium, and certainly not Temple of Styx for a good while. Anyway. Nope. Gonna be using 8 of those. I'm much better at not accidentally using a bunch of my keys and stuff. Oh, hey. Here we go. Reward. Oh, 80, which I will end up using. Okay, cool. But I'll just be using those as I go along. For now, I won't touch the darkness because I'm going to use these first. In fact, wait, no, before I do anything, I'm going to also use my keys, just in case I accidentally forget to not use my keys. And once I do a bunch of prep, I'll actually leave it here for now. Come back out here and leave it here for now. Actually, before I do anything else, okay, let's make sure. The reason I made sure to do that before killing him is a lot of times, I don't know if they fixed this, I think this is a bug. If you kill him, that dialogue option he had disappears. So, yep, I cannot yet do that. I'll be actually using these for a while now, because I've been wanting to. And I'm going to start switching more weapons, in general, actually. Actually, no, I want to beat Hades first before I start switching weapons. With my shield, because I'm so used to it. Yep, that's what I'll do. There we go. Anywho. Back through here. Do some mirror things, because I have the gems to do some mirror things. I have new ones too. Urns of Wealth. Underworld Fountains. More health. Yeah, give me that. I'll be doing a lot of the work orders first, because those directly help me, you know, in the runs. Ooh. Yeah, I'll do that. Just, because that means fountains will be really, really paramount. Like, those will be life-saving at times, so. Ooh. And now I can't do the Urns of Wealth, so I will save. Until I can. Alright, Durgay. And just make sure there's no one else to talk to and stuff. I'm pretty sure I can't go in here. Nope, I can't. There we go, now I have the codex. Let's start reading these. I'm going to start trying to read every new entry I get. I really want to do that. So, let's just go down every list from left to right. Let's do it. First, though, I want to take a drink of my water, because my throat's a little bit, and it's really apparent right now, because I'm about to read out loud. So my throat was like, hey, Dirk, you should drink first, basically, by being a little bit sore. And making it very clear and very sore. Hades, what is there to say about the Master? Master not just of the house in which I work, but of the entirety of the domain beneath the earth. The place we all end up after we die. He is a god of character, I have to give him that. In life, I once served someone who reminded me of him a little, yet even the kingliest of mortals pales in comparison. Suffice it, then, to say that the Lord Hades takes matters of his fate-appointed underworld in utmost seriousness. Learn more by having conversations with Hades, docile. Nyx. Mother Night, we like to call her, though rare is the occasion when she dotes on us. She has her many, many children to look after, many of whom reside now in locales well beyond my reckoning, and perhaps beyond hers. Zagreus. I also like how, again, just really great characterization of Achilles here throughout this entire thing, just smatterings here and there of such. Take one look at him, and I think any questions of his parentage are soon resolved. He never seemed to like it much there, growing up within Lord Hades' well-appointed house. One day I took him on as a disciple, under orders from Lord Hades. The master worried that his heir lacked any firm direction in his life. He still does. I mean, he has firm direction now, just not the kind that that Hades wanted him to have, funnily enough. And indeed, Zagreus took well to the martial ways, and I am proud to say now that he was my student. Aw, thanks there. Actual better dad than my actual dad in this universe. My actual dad in real life is awesome, but yeah, Hades, as portrayed in this game, not so much. Charon. The Stygian boatman is a lot of things, though I am afraid he isn't much for conversation. I have tried, though perhaps not persuasively enough. I wonder where he finds the time to mill about, as sometimes he is prone. His duty as the shepherd of the recently deceased must keep him very busy overall, yet even still he finds the time to collect trinkets and to sell them back to us, for reasons only he could understand. Hypnos. It is said that sleep is the cousin of death. That turns out to be not quite correct, insofar as the two, in fact, are brothers, born to Nyx herself. The former of the two, we call him Hypnos. He whiles away, half sleeping, watching over the pool of sticks in the foyer of the house, taking stock of those arriving in the master's domain, or returning to it. Though Hypnos may be lacking in propriety, he brings a certain cheer, however unconventional, into the grim proceedings of the house. Megara, also known as future waifu of Zag, as evidenced by, I've already given her 3 nectars. I love her, damn it, because I'm a masochist. I mean, I said nothing. The ancient Three Sisters deal retribution for eternity against all those whose lives unspeakably befouled the lives of others. They each seem to relish their grim work, though none so much as Megara, the first among them. Her whip is very much notorious around these parts, even in Zagreus' bedroom. What? That's not quite yet. I mean, actually, it's implied that they were a thing before. Very heavily implied. But, well, I mean, let's just say that that's going to be a thing again later. And there are those who say she is more than my equal in the martial ways, a conjecture I see no reason to test. Well, I mean, considering you trained Zag, and, you know, Zag's been beaten her quite a bit in my case already, many times. Many more than she's beaten me, though part of that is because I practiced this game. You know, I've played this game before for 100+ hours, so, you know, I'm not really having the, you know, early game experience here in this playthrough, wherein usually you end up throwing yourself at Mega a few times before you beat her the first time. So, anyway. Tisiphone. Among each of the Deathless Fury sisters, the one known as Tisiphone is probably responsible for the particularly fearsome reputation they all share, both on the surface of the earth and here below. Chaos. Even Nyx, our Mother Night, comes from somewhere. Even the Olympians above, and Master Hades himself. Eternal though they are, they came unto this world after they, or their ancestors, sprang from the darkness of chaos. Yes, indeed. We'll be learning more about them later. Very interesting how they portray them in this game. Because chaos is supposed to be just this formless primordial thing, you know, basically. In, you know, OG Greek mythology, not this retelling here, because this is very certainly a retelling with liberties taken. I mean, I don't even know much about Greek mythology, and I know that much. Anyway. The Master of the Heavens, God among gods. So much of my mortal life was impacted by him, and now even in death I serve his brother. I do not think that I have much to say for the Lord Zeus, which is not widely known already. Poseidon. But speaking of Poseidon, I'm going to take this very apt time to drink some water. Thanks, Poseidon. This stuff is kind of important for life. Hello? Oh, that's my mom. Who's not allowed in my room, so I'm not gonna. And by the way, before anyone's like, why wouldn't you let your mother in your room? Dementia. She's not, you know, saying it anymore. Anyway, I am ever grateful that, while I was living, he was merciful to me. Down here, however, I must say I rarely feel his influence. All of us, we are beneath him now. How many of my brethren did he drown during my mortal days? He comes across as affable, yet I have not forgiven him. Oof. Athena. Of some things I am certain, and one of them is this, that there were many times during my mortal life when my spear found its mark thanks to Pallas Athena. She favors those of dispositions such as mine, and I would like to think her efforts keep the violent lusting of Ares, her half-brother, well in check. Aphrodite. I really like Athena, by the way, and Aphrodite, actually. For different reasons, though. Aphrodite wields her beauty and her charm with much the same lethality as I could wield the spear. I love the writing, by the way. I mean, Supergiant's writing has always been amazing, but especially in this game, Empire, it shines just because of just all the writing you get to read. By the way, Pyre is one of the games I'm definitely going to be putting up on the channel as well. I have seen her handiwork firsthand, and it is often not as pretty as she is. Artemis. The goddess of the hunt has always held my highest admiration. Unlike so many of her brethren on Olympus, she seems unconcerned with being praised at every turn by mortals, and instead she dutifully holds her station as a master of the natural world. Even Lord Hades may hold some respect for her, I think. Certainly her power is responsible for no small quantity of shades in this domain. Ares. Although my heart has long since stopped, it yet holds love in it for all the gods, save one. The one who made and ruined me as well. I have no kind words to impart to him, except perhaps in the form of this concession. War, much like the heavens and the sea, can be considered as a force of nature. It keeps men down. They shall never grow too plentiful this way, or near as mighty as the gods. Ye. Dionysus. Perhaps I ought to feel a kinship with this easygoing son of Zeus, for it is said that he has some mortal blood in him, and not just divinity. Hermes, one of the free-spirited sons of Zeus. He is patron to travelers, traders, even tricksters. Youthful in spirit and appearance, he couldn't be mistaken for a common lad, if not for his extraordinary swiftness. As of note, Achilles, also known as himself, I see no reason to regale you with stories of my past. Suffice it that I fought as bravely as I could alongside many of the finest men the world has ever known. I buried far too many of them and sent many others to this place, where now at last we all are peers. I am fortunate the master of the house took pity upon me and spared me from eternal boredom in Elysium with an existence closer to the times when I still lived and had a job to do. Makes sense. Orpheus. No one sings a sweeter, sadder song than Orpheus, who, if I'm to understand correctly, is among the only mortals who once ventured down into the underworld and returned to tell the tale. Yeah, kind of like the thing we're trying to do. Mortality and immortality are closer than most gods care to believe. Eurydice, by the way. There are such minor gods as can be killed. So it is with nymphs, and all the naiads and the dryads and the like, the spirits of the woods and the seas and the skies. In life, they captivate our mortal senses and imaginations, but in death, we are all more alike. And I do believe she is a dryad, specifically, though I'm not 100% certain there. I see. Yeah, the guy we just met. Forgive me, it is not my place to say much of him now. Oof, yeah. Achilles and Patroclus is an interesting, sad little story, and thankfully we can help all these people out. And I love what you can do to help these people in this game. I love it so much. Asterius. In life, the wretched abomination known as the Minotaur was feared across the coast of Greece. Those cast into the labyrinth in which he himself was trapped had no hope of escape. It's interesting, the dynamic between Asterius and Theseus that we'll soon start seeing. Cerberus. The fearsome multi-headed hound of hell is really not so bad as his deserved reputation otherwise would lead you to believe. In fact, he is quite the good heckin' boy. That's not Achilles' words, that's mine, but yeah, I love him. Good. Poached Dougal. Do so. A splendid house such as the Master's requires a great deal of cleaning, and the little Gorgon seems forever doomed to do it all herself. Dusa hugs. She deserves so many of them. I love her. Skelly. The animated skeleton and I, we seldom get along. He is too talkative for me, and spouts such simple condescensions to all those in earshot, seemingly as though he were an expert in the ways of war. I disapprove of his reckless advice, and am uncertain as to who he was in life to be so self-assured in death. I don't know if we ever learn that. I think we do, though. I mean, again, I haven't gotten to that point, but yeah, Supergiant does not leave these kinds of stones unturned, but we'll see if they do end up doing that, actually. I am uncertain of why he is even here. It is quite odd that the Master does not seem to know of him at all. But what I think is that Hades is actually feigning ignorance, but in all seriousness, he hired Skelly in order to help Zag, even while by appearances seeming entirely unsupportive of Zag's, adamancy to do this. That's just my theory, though. I don't know if that's true. House of Hades. Having been appointed by the fates to reign beneath the earth for eternity, the Master was awarded a permanent place of residence at the base of his domain, in addition to a wide variety of responsibilities to the dead. Tartarus. The lowest reaches of the underworld are reserved not just for the Master's own abode, but for the benefit of every wretch who, in the course of drawing breath, failed every opportunity to leave any sort of positive impression behind. Oof. Asphodel. Among the many reasons it is best for mortals to strive to treat each other reasonably well is that, after having lived their short lives, they may wind up stuck with one another for eternity in the meadows of Asphodel. Indeed. Elysium. Some mortals surely would wish to live forever if only they could, though for the sensible ones, spending an eternity in the fields of Elysium would be their foremost choice. to be forever in that beautiful place together with only the greatest souls to have ever lived. Chaos. There must be some place even darker, even deeper than the lowest depths of Tartarus. For even Tartarus sprang forth from somewhere else, and yet we've been there a few times. Infernal arms. Stygian blade. Stygius, the blade of the underworld, must have been among the finest weapons ever wielded back when it was whole. Back when the 6 elder gods sealed the Titans in the deepest recesses of Tartarus, that blade evidently played no small role in their success. It must have been Lord Poseidon who brandished that blade before he opted for that trident he so likes. Now the blade lies broken, survived only by its burning soul. So we're actually using the soul of the real Stygian blade. That's really interesting. Shield of Chaos. Aegis, the Shield of Chaos, is descended from the very Aegis wielded by Lord Zeus and by Athena, his most favored daughter. The Lord of Thunder defended his brothers and sisters using that very shield when, together, they conspired to drive the Titans back into the lowest reaches of the underworld. The shield was shattered, yet a burning effigy remains, its power still intact. A power sealed within the visage of a monstrous entity even the Titans feared. Its might is uncontrollable, and it scarce functions as a manner of defense. Instead, its writhing maw augments its wielder's might, shattering bone and solid rock with little effort and considerable zeal. I confess that I had to look away from it. The family of weapons used to end the Titan War. The other members of it seem almost alive in their own way, but there is no almost about this. It instills in me a feeling I would rather leave unnamed. May the next bearer of Aegis meet it on agreeable terms. Very interesting that he mentions that there. All right, friends, I'm gonna go back out to the room. For now, I'm gonna go back out here. I'm gonna keep skellies on. I have done all the preparations and catching up that I need. Actually, let's actually make certain first that oh god, I forgot the key. Wow. What's the key for the codex? C. Okay. I actually realized it just before I actually pressed it. I was like, yeah, that's right. It's C. Anyway, let's just make sure. Yeah, okay. I was like, hold on, wait. That wasn't all of them, was it? I'm glad I realized. And yeah, okay. So let's read the rest of these first. Like I said, every new one. I am making a habit of every time at the end of every episode, at least, I take time, after how many ever runs I do at that point in time, I will go ahead and I will read all the new entries. The dead in Tartarus are here, in general, because they did not deserve, wretched thug. Read title start. The dead in Tartarus are here, in general, because they did not deserve a noble death. They were knaves, scoundrels, cutthroats, the worst that mortals have to offer. Even now, reduced merely to shades, they are compelled by evil thoughts and take to brandishing about crude weapons washed down by the river Styx. Wretched witch. Practitioners of foul arts, their lives inevitably were cut short, but now continue in a way within the bowels of the earth. Here, the sole remaining source of purpose that they have is to snuff out the final vestiges of life that find their way into this grim domain. Oofa. Wretched lout. There was ample room in Tartarus even for these prodigious, boorish entities, who doubtless were intolerable even when they lived. Now, having been reduced merely to their most base of negative impulses, these damnable wretches do their part to help uphold the underworld's cruel reputation. Wretched pest. First of all, drinky Durgan water. And continuing on. The ashes of the dead are copious within the underworld, sometimes congealing into awful little spirits keen to cause whatever strife and mischief that they can. I find it interesting that these are the congealed ashes, and that's why they look like urns, I guess. Interesting, of the dead. These wretches house themselves in long forgotten urns, almost like okay, interesting. So the ashes themselves sort of house themselves in these urns and essentially end up being able to animate the urns, and that's why the wretched pests exist. Almost like underwater crabs choosing ignoble homes from derelict seashells. Numbskull. It's kind of funny how they took, the pretty common insult, numbskull, pretty well-known insult, and made it into one of these enemy names. I love the names of most of these enemies. I love them. This is the land of death. Anything that lives is likely to be rather bothersome here, and the numbskulls certainly fit this profile. Voracious little creatures, the Lord Hades nonetheless opted to not to exterminate them all, since they do have a tendency to prey on foolish shades who dare leave their station. It's interesting that they're skulls, right? They're living skulls, and you would think that they were actually just reanimated skulls of the dead, but it makes sense that that's not the case, considering the fact that spirits are what come here, not bodies. Bodies die, and the spirits come here. So now that I think of that, it makes sense that if there's a bunch of animated skulls down here, they're native to the underworld, instead of being from the dead, because the souls are what come down here. Very interesting. Interesting little attention to detail here, by the way, because I was wondering why that was, but then I just realized why, as I as I read this and thought about it. Very interesting. Skullamat. The hideous appearance of this mound of human-looking skulls effectively deters any who wander out into the reaches of the underworld, especially because they keep infinitely spawning numbskulls until you kill it, until you destroy it. Until you destroy them. Brimstone. The pressures of the lowest reaches of the underworld forge these terrifying crystal entities, imbued with overflowing hatred from the essence of the damned, which gives them something much akin to life. So, similarly to the numbskulls, they're essentially native to here. Interesting. Their hatred concentrates into a ray of pain that even the chthonic gods have learned to carefully avoid whenever possible. Doomstone. So desperate are some souls to escape the realm of the dead that they plunge into the mists of Erebus, even before their sentencing. Having thus been lost, they are never officially registered or heard from again. But there is no escape from death, even for such souls. Voidstone. The underworld was born of nothingness, of pure chaotic void. Vestiges of this remain within this place, crystallized into a form of something that could not rightly be called life. Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized there might be a bunch more of the others categories as well. There's a lot to cover initially here, because, we just got the codex, and there's already a good few entries in here about a lot of the things that we've been getting here. Bloodless. The skeletal remains of fallen warriors left with nothing but an insatiable impulse toward violence. They wander the burning fields of Asphodel, hungering for something far beyond their capacity. Boneraker. For mortals, the need occasionally arises to draw blood, whether for a cause or by necessity. But there are also those who do it for its own sake, monsters in the form of men, revealed finally for what they are once in this realm. I love his rather reflective, philosophical, deep thoughts on all these things. It's very fascinating to me. It really characterizes Achilles well, and it's just great writing, and I soak that shit up, man. Inferno Bomber. As if forged bronze is insufficient in its keen ability to put an end to life, there have been those who studied the eldritch art of chemistry to fashion devastating, fiery devices known as bombs. Slam Dancer. Also known as mosh pitters. Moshers. Metalheads. Like me. I say that, but I don't tend to do that stuff. I just like heavy metal. Marauding warriors that once lived in sin and lusted after murder, now reborn beneath the earth, eternally reliving the final violent moments of their days of war and strife. Burrenflinger. Perhaps the titan called Prometheus would have reconsidered before gifting unto mortal kind the great discovery of flame. And had he foreknowledge of his punishment, or foreknowledge of the Burnflingers, who practice their obscene art only for destruction's sake. Ooful. Wavemaker. Hello? Oh. I'm getting that. One-time scions of so many long-forgotten cults, which worshipped monsters slain by heroes at some point. These remnants of the living yet possess capacity to give a certain shape to diabolic energies. Dracon. All mortal life is a struggle to survive that ends in failure. Oof. That's a really bleak way of looking at it. I want to say he isn't wrong, but the sheer negativity of that statement, I would say, is wrong. If only because it's a very... I understand why Achilles would think that in his position, especially how he's portrayed in this game. But, I mean, maybe it's just my optimism and how much optimism has helped me deal with life. And that is why I don't approve of statements like this. They're dangerous to believe. Because once you really internalize this kind of stuff, it tends to feel... It tends to make things seem futile, which leads to depression, which leads to all sorts of other things. So I would caution against even using words like that to describe anything at all. Because it's very liable to basically... You're very liable to make your own life way harder than it has to be by internalizing these kinds of statements. I've learned that the hard way, and now that I'm really unlearning a lot of the statements that I internalized that made my life harder, well, my life's a lot easier. Who'd have thunk? One final lesson prior to a transfer here, where we have room enough for every living thing, from the greatest of men to the lowliest of serpents. Although, granted, I mean, considering the fact that in this universe, you go here, and, after death, it's guaranteed, which, honestly, frankly, I don't think an afterlife actually exists in real life. We can't really know that, because you'd have to die to know, and upon dying, you lose your ability to communicate with the real world, right? With the living world, right? I really do think that we just cease to exist after dying, generally. Although there seems to be some evidence of paranatural, of ghosts and things somewhere, somehow, some way, and I sort of believe that those things may exist in some way, but it's, again, there doesn't seem to be any hard proof of any of it. Afterlives, ghosts, So I don't think that those exist, frankly. Anyway, I feel like they might, but I feel like, honestly, it isn't our place to know, and we should be more hard-pressed to focus on how to improve the quality of our lives generally as we live them, instead of trying to figure out everything about the universe that, possibly we can never know to any real super ultra provable degree, Anyway, Spreader. In life, they worship the chthonic gods, through profane practices beyond the knowledge or capability of lesser souls. Oof. Gorgon. As the immortal ichor, the most infamous of Gorgons, spilled from her severed head into the earth, it trickled down into the underworld and spawned a brood of vengeful offspring. I do believe that they're referring to Medusa here, the famous Medusa from Greek myth. Skullcrusher. In the great and ancient war that raged between Titans and Olympians, the brutish Cyclops stood with the former side and dearly paid for it. Their kind has all but disappeared from Earth, though remnants still remain beneath it. Megagorgon. The petrifying Gorgons were so feared among the living that the kings of men summoned the greatest of their heroes to dispatch them, claiming that the fickle gods desired it. Bone Hydra. Stripped of the flesh, the hero Heracles sliced through and cauterized, the Hydra now resides within the underworld, stewing in the scintillating tumult of the fire river called the Plegathon. Splitter. There is such knowledge that the gods sought to keep well afield of mortal minds. There are mortals who pursued that knowledge, undeterred, all their short lives. Bright sword. The exalted, such as the blade-wielding bright swords, are bound to the arms they carried when they fell in battle as mortals. When severed from those arms, they make a desperate grasp for them, so they can fight some more. Bright sword. Long spear. I know what they can do only too well. Their endless training regimen takes influence from the specific martial style I strove to perfect in life. The spear always having been my preferred weapon for its reach and versatility. Strongbow. First of all, again, important. Drink water, friendos. It's very important. Especially when reading aloud. I always thought archers were simple cowards, no matter their skill. But I am not the one deciding who enters Elysium, as can be plainly seen by the abundance of such skillful arrow-flingers as these exalted strongbows, as they are sometimes known. Great shield. The illusion of protection is sometimes indistinguishable from the real thing. After all, one's ability to survive and prevail in perilous matters is largely an act of will. Thus do the exalted great shield bearers of Elysium cling, I think rather desperately, to their worldly comforts, even in death. Soul catcher. What is the soul? An ember from the depths of chaos, nothing more, I think. But it is all we are as mortals, and it is all we are reduced to once we inevitably fade away. Is it such a surprise, then, that we souls seek company in death just as in life? Okay, so, yeah, all those butterflies are souls. Makes sense. Likewise, it should come as no surprise, I think, that some such souls yet harbor hatred in what used to be their hearts. Oofle. Oofly, doofly, 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 doffly. Alright, that's all those. I was going to go back and make sure that we weren't missing any more of these. Hold on. Chthonic gods. Okay, nope. 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 Arms. Alright, yeah. That's where that started. Alright, artifacts. Darkness. Born of chaos, the underworld is a domain of pure and utter darkness. Sometimes this dark essence becomes manifest through all the raging of the dead, and all the strife that can unfold beneath the earth. And there are those born of this realm who can absorb that essence, gaining oneness with the underworld, growing stronger all the while. Bloodstones. Whoops. Didn't mean to make that noise happen. The world itself is alive in a way, is it not? Go ahead. Even in the realm of the dead, all of us here, the world with it, we flow through time as blood flows through mortal veins. Look carefully, and you shall find there is power, feeling in the earth itself, and, like any power, it seeks to be claimed, to be held. With all this in mind, as well as due to the appearance, I suppose, do bloodstones take their name. The master himself keeps several of them, perhaps for therapeutic reasons. Interesting. He has even taught the prince the way to make their crimson facets ignite in an angry glow, and thus we use them to throw into things, which tend to be very helpful, especially when the gods imbue them with power. Charon's Opal. The underworld is best known as the domain of death, but it is also the domain of countless wealth and riches, sent into the river Styx along with the deceased. Centaur Heart. The equine centaurs are well known for their unlimited endurance, and although their reign has long since passed from the mortal realm above, their resolve lives on within the underworld. Here, their vital essence is encased in still-beating vessels, which bestow the centaur's power to the wielder. Whether any centaurs yet remain alive to claim these artifacts, it is as yet unclear. Palm of Power. There is not much to eat here in the underworld, conventionally speaking. The pomegranate is a rare exception, having made its way down to these depths, perhaps alongside the Lord Hades himself, when he first came to this realm aeons ago. Here, this blood-red fruit holds something of a terrifying power. Daedalus Hammer. The master artisan called Daedalus has never known a peer, so it is little accident that the Lord Hades hand-selected him from all the shades residing in the underworld to do his bidding for eternity, and for a hallowed place within Elysium somewhere. Chthonic keys. Certain artifacts within the realm of Hades have been sealed under lock and key, to prevent tampering by those not yet prepared to harness their immeasurable might. Those keys, or so they appear, are not so easy to procure. Titan blood. Deep within the unfathomable pits of Tartarus lie the remains of the Titans, who once ruled all between heaven and earth. Few traces yet remain of them, due to the thoroughness with which they were dispatched in the war waged by their offspring, the gods who now reside upon Olympus. Yet those scarce traces do exist, and a terrible power rests within. Gemstones. Mortals cherish these stones of many brilliant colors, going to lengths to excavate them from the earth, to steal them, to be blunt, from the rightful domain of Master Hades. The Master also values them, for light exists in limited supply down here, and all light refracted through a gemstone's facets is most valuable of all. Interesting. Diamond. Among the hardest, most bedazzling of substances born beneath the earth, the diamond nonetheless has somewhat of a stately manner, colorless and stoic, next to all of the multicolored stones with which it coexists. But what it arguably lacks in outward beauty, it makes up for with its uses in the sprawling industry of death, which Master Hades oversees, and also its uses in making people spend way too much money on them in real life. I mean, what? Don't get me started on wedding rings and shit, people. Come on, what the shit? That whole industry is just really, to me. Alright, anyway. Nectar. The drink of the gods is one of the underworld's most sought-after delicacies, and truly perhaps one of the only sources of genuine lightness here within this realm. And no more categories. We have caught up on entries in the codex. Feels sexy, man. Anywho, friendarinos, like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. And I hope y'all have a lovely, wonderful day. Bye, friends!